In this video, we are going to talk about Warren Buffett, how people should invest in 2021. So before starting this video, please like this video, and subscribe to our channel for the future updates. At the same time, there is still a major danger for investors due to the continuing coronavirus pandemic and a highly fragile economy. In times like these, when there is a great deal of confusion, I like to refer to some of Warren Buffett's most well-known advice. Warren Buffett is regarded as one of the greatest investors of all time. The Oracle of Omaha has an outstanding knowledge of the markets, in addition to an unparalleled track record spanning decades. Berkshire Hathaway, led by Warren Buffett, held 151.61 million shares of the firm, representing a $1.2 billion investment. On December 31, last year, the shareholding was valued at $18.33 billion. In just 2 months, the valuation of this investment has risen to $21 billion, assuming Berkshire's holding has remained unchanged, netting Warren Buffett an extra $2.69 billion profit. As a result, when the world's greatest investor gives guidance to institutional investors, the advice can be invaluable. So far, 2021 has been one of the most eventful years in stock market history. A sell-off will catch you off guard. The light will go from green to red at any time without pausing at yellow, Buffett famously said to Berkshire Hathaway shareholders 3 years ago. The S&P 500 then fell nearly 5.6% in less than 2 weeks in January of that year. Buffett then revealed for the first time how he intends to save some of his capital for the long term shortly after. Warren Buffett's investment style is characterized by such tenets, such as always investing for the long term. When you break down his approach, it's much more thoughtful and substantive than just asking investors to buy and keep stocks for years. So, without further ado, here are Warren Buffett's top 3 investing tips for retail investors in the run-up to 2021. Here's a list of the Warren Buffett, how people should invest in 2021. Let's start. Number 7, stay the course. When the markets fall, it can be painful, but don't panic and sell all of your assets because of the current news cycle. Markets will still be unpredictable, and the safest thing any investor, regardless of experience, can do is keep a level head, according to Buffett. Instead, stay the course and trust that you've made wise investments in businesses that will last. Buffett wrote that investors need to be able to disregard crowd fears or enthusiasms when focusing on a few basic fundamentals. A willingness to appear unimaginative, or even foolish, for an extended period of time is also required. Number 6. Invest in yourself. Buffett told Yahoo Finance editor-in-chief Andy Serwer, by far the biggest investment you can make is in yourself. Learn to communicate better both in writing and in person, says the first step. In a Facebook video, he said the honing that ability would increase your value by at least 50%. Why who you marry is the key to your success. Then, particularly when you're young, take care of your body and mind. If I gave you a car and told you it was the only car you'd ever have for the rest of your life, you'd take care of it like crazy. You'd patch every scratch right away, read the owner's manual, keep a workshop, and do all of these things, he said. In this world, you just get one mind and one body, and you can't start caring about it when you're 50. If you haven't done anything, you'll be rusty by then. Number 5. Remember that money isn't everything. Buffett is consistently one of the world's wealthiest individuals, but he doesn't consider wealth to be a metric of achievement. It all comes down to whether or not the people nearest to you love you, according to him. The amazing thing about love is that it is impossible to get rid of it. When you try to give it away, you get twice as much, but when you try to keep it, it vanishes. It's an exceptional case in which those who simply drive it out get tenfold in return. Number 4. Invest in stocks as you would in a farm. Buffett argues that rather than buying a stock, the average investor should say, I bought a company today. Invest in stocks as you would in a farm, shareholder message, extending the comparison even further. Changing your investment mindset will assist you in focusing on the long term. Buffett said on CNBC's Squawk Box in 2021 that, nobody buys a farm based on whether they think it will rain next year. They buy it because they believe it would be a profitable investment in 10 or 20 years. The problem is that, unlike investing in a physical object like a store or a farm, investors can make decisions every second with stocks, so they think an investment in stocks is different than an investment in a company. In the same interview, he said, but it isn't. Investing in businesses with the intention of owning them for years or decades is a strategy that is unaffected by short-term occurrences, including the recent coronavirus pandemic and economic downturn. Right now, the coronavirus is in the spotlight. On February 24, Buffett told Becky Fast on CNBC's Squawk Box that everything else will be front and center 6 months from now and a year from now. The real question is, where are these companies going to be in 5, 10, and 20 years? Some of them will make a splash, while others will fade away. In general, I believe America will perform admirably. Number 3. Patience is paramount. When it comes to investing, discipline is crucial, particularly the discipline to be patient. The stock market is a device for moving money from the impatient to the patient, says Warren Buffett in one of his most popular investment quotes. No matter where you are in your investment path, patience is key. You'll need patience to wait for the target stocks you're following to appreciate in value. Once you've put together your portfolio and it begins to accumulate, you'll need patience. Patience can be one of the most important aspects of your performance. Impatience, in addition to requiring time for your long-term plan to succeed, can lead to investors making short-sighted decisions that will negatively affect them in the long run. So, no matter what impulses you have when it comes to investing, try to be careful. Number 2. Invest in quality. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get, says another well-known Warren Buffett quote. This quote is particularly important for investors in today's world. The Oracle of Omaha was primarily a value investor when he started his investment career. Buffett has adjusted his strategy over time as market conditions have changed. He would rather buy a wonderful business trading at a fair price than a wonderful business trading at a fair price these days. This is because fantastic companies that you can purchase at a reasonable price and don't have to pay a premium for have much more potential than mediocre stocks selling at a discount. Although it's vital to be patient and wait for target stocks to gain traction before investing, it's much better to pay a premium for a high-quality company. Number 1. Stay committed to the long term. The final piece of Warren Buffett's advice brings it together. Investors must still be focused on the long term. This does not only apply to long-term investments. It also entails maintaining a long-term perspective. Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful, says another of Buffett's popular quotes. Maintaining a long-term outlook entails being able to think clearly through market crashes, process what's going on and why it's going on, and correctly determine the right long-term decision. When the coronavirus pandemic struck, for example, smart investors were buying top stocks and stocks tanked. However, just because the market is in a downturn doesn't mean you can buy any stock that appears to be undervalued. Investors must consider what caused the pandemic, what effects it would have, and which stocks are the most vulnerable. Knowing that the pandemic was spreading across the world and that travel bans were being implemented will lead you to sell airline stocks like Air Canada until it was too late. It's just as important to avoid bad investments as it is to find top stocks to invest in for the long term. It's important that investors remember Warren Buffett's investment advice and still save for the long term. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoy this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.